Center was founded by Mary and Alexander Laughlin. Mary convinced her husband in 1897 to build a mansion in Sewickley Hills for mothers and newborn children to escape the pollution of industrial-age Pittsburgh. Mothers and kids would come to the fresh air home and stay anywhere from a few weeks to a few months and enjoy the fresh air of the countryside. The fresh air home in its later years became a place where children with polio and tuberculosis and those sorts of things could come and stay, as well as a place where orphans would often end up. When Mrs. Laughlin died, she left a sizable bequest to the fresh air home, but they didn't really have many clients by that point. There was another organization here in Sewickley called the Child Counseling Center that provided psychological services for kids. They had lots of clients and no money. So that organization and the Fresh Air Home got together and Laughlin Children Center was born, serving kids, about 1,200 every year, from our 3 buildings here on Frederick Street. We're renovating all 3 of those buildings. We've started with our lovely little carriage house here. It is now the home of the Village Preschool, an AC accredited program for 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Let's go inside and visit. We started renovation last Christmas and finished up in time for the children's to start on the Tuesday after Labor Day. Up until the start of this school year, there were small offices here for tutors and students, but as you can see, the renovation turned the building into offices and classroom space and a kitchen for the Village Preschool. It's the first phase of our renovation. Now let's go take a look at where we stand with the other 2 phases. As part of the preschool renovation, we've also installed the beginnings of a natural playground. And you'll notice here the slide, for example, is embedded in an earthen berm rather than having a metal structure. We're also trying to be as green as possible, reusing some of the construction material, choosing things that don't need a lot of maintenance, like the recycled rubber tire mulch and the recycled water bottle deck boards here on our sandbox. Okay, now we are inside our 1956 main building. Let's go take a look at the space that used to house the preschool and will be, in January, housing our new speech department. As you can tell, there's a ways to go before this space is ready for speech therapists and clients, but this will give you an idea of what the carriage house looked like before the preschool was installed. So for each of the 4 speech offices, there is an observation room. Observation rooms are for parents or other professionals to observe what's going on in speech therapy so that they can use some of the principles in other settings at home or, in school, that sort of thing. Now we're in the 3rd building of our campus. We call this our cottage. We're in the library, which we use for small meetings, small group appointments, that sort of thing. This is the one room in the center that won't be affected by the renovation. The cottage was built in the 1800s, and the carriage house where the new preschool is was literally the carriage house for this building. In the 1980s, we joined the cottage and the main building with a long connecting hallway. These 2 rooms will be joined and become our boardroom, which is where we'll have board meetings, obviously, but also staff meetings and host community meetings and large group activities. Over here, staff kitchen. Out this way, a few more offices. All of our administrative staff are housed over here. This is the long connecting hallway that joins the cottage where we just were with our main building, the one built in 1956. We're back in our 1956 main building. This is the site of the next phase of our renovation. This long hallway has tutoring and speech therapy offices. As you can see, a little outdated, a little in need of some renovation. So this long hall will eventually house all of our academic department. There'll be 7 academic offices. This will be the director's office. The academic office renovation is phase 3 and will happen sometime later this spring. This is our current waiting room. Families, instead of using this space, will use a brand new waiting room that will be devoted entirely to them. Right now, anytime that we have a staff meeting or a board meeting or a community group that comes in, families are booted out of this space, and for some kids that can be a real disruption in their schedule and make the therapy appointment that day not as meaningful as it might be otherwise. This space will become an outdoor classroom, and we'll finish our tour by going back to the front of the building. Thanks for watching.